Hello, and welcome aboard to another stream from your boy Keobastein. As you can see, I'm back at it again with about doing another tier list. Of course, not a tier list based off character string, but this is a tier list of my own based off who am I interested in playing in Kingdom Hearts 15. Now that we got the full roster leaked. That's a leaked. Now that we have the full roster in the rings, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do a tier. So we're gonna go ahead and place the characters up from day one main, wish to main, function, might try, and not happening. I've done this before with the Melted Blood Type Lumina cast. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do this with Kingdom Hearts 15 since we're here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first. Let me get some things properly working on my part. Right. Sorry, got a little bit distracted. Alright, so let me go ahead and explain these things, or rather these ranking, so people can at least get an idea where I'm coming from. Day one main, as the name says, these are characters who I was pretty much already dead set to try to play and main from day one. Then there's the wish to main. Basically, these are characters who I have a high interest in, but they were not in the. Oh, that is going to be a fucking problem. My phone. I do apologize for that. What did I say? Wish to main. So basically, these are characters who I have an interest in, but I'm still, in a sense, weary. Or rather, these are characters who I really like and want to play, but I may not be capable of playing them, if anything. I could definitely shoot some characters in there that I have in mind. Then these are functions. Basically, these are characters that have basically tool sets I want, but I don't particularly care for the character themselves. And let's just say the function is also basically. Alright, I got day one main, I got wish to main. If some reason wish to main, if no one really graduates from wish to main to an actual main, then I fall back on functions. This is kind of like my backup plan. If all else fails, I know I at least like these characters because they have certain tool sets I want, hence the name function. Then there are the might try, because either I have yet to play them, or yeah, that's really going to be a problem, isn't it, with my phone? Whatever. All right. So, might try. Almost the same thing as function, but rather these are I don't know what you're about, but I have a kernel of interest, like a kernel. Rather, you're in my peripheral, but I'm also not jumping to play them either and whatnot. And then this is not happening where I just have complete no interest whatsoever based off their function or even them as a character. So now that we got that wrapped up, I'm going to go ahead and start from the top and work our way down. So let's start with Shunei. I do have a little bit of experience with Shunei. I played him for a bit. He's okay-ish for the most part. I'm not going to say I play him enough to say whether I do like him or not. I mean, as a character, I really don't care for him as a character. And but rather how that even happened is he was introduced in Kingdom Hearts 14, and we look at Team China, which Shunei was introduced. We have both Mitsuku and Tong, who are both characters who I was just way more interested in. I love Tong. I used to play him in Fatal Fury, so I love Tong for that. Mitsuku, also like how he looks more aesthetically. I like the sleepy fighter, and then also he's charge based. Best design ever. Okay, well, not best design, but he just fit my style to a T. And Shunei he was there. I see. Now he was just there. He had the power. He had the more or less brain dead good normals, which I admit, he got good normals. But after that, then I just didn't really care for him as a character per se. I mean, I don't hate him I don't really hate him like I probably hate maybe other main hero characters, but I just didn't really feel for him. So yeah, with Shunei, he's gonna go in I'm gonna put him back in the might try, because he did get a bit nerfed, so he's not as busted as he is. But one thing I also did realize is I do like mobility, and Shunei does have mobility with his air command moves and whatnot. Now, the reason why I didn't even try him in Kingdom Hearts 14 because I had another character who had more mobility than him, and that was Mian from Kingdom Hearts 14 from Team Invitation. But she's nowhere to be found, so she's not here. So I'm gonna have to look at the cast again, but Shunei may be the next character who has the mobility equivalent to Mian, so that's why I'm gonna put him in the might try. So now let's go on to the next character. Terry Bulgar, not happening. I never cared for him as a character, never cared for him for his play style. Yeah, I never did. Like, I rather play with Rock before I even play with Terry, and I don't even really like Rock like that. Like, I only like Rock because he had a command. I mean, a counter command. Otherwise, just never cared for him. Terry Bulgar, I mean, he's a cool character. Like, let me just say, he is a cool, interesting. No, not interesting. Let me not say interesting. He's not interesting to me. He is a fun person. That's fine. Like, Terry, will I hang out with Terry? Cool, fine. I could do that much. Will I be down with a bro with him? Nah. Would I even want to train with him? Nah. I prefer his brother Andy, the much more disciplined person and whatnot. So yeah, not happening. Yoshiro. I actually have a bit of history of Yoshiro since I have played him in the previous King of Fighters game. I did like how he had a bit of armor and some pretty good pressure. In fact, that might be the best thing I like about him, since he's probably the closest to like a moving fortress outside of Ryo Sakazaki. And what I mean by moving fortress is, one, he has a lot of armor, but he's much more of an aggressive fighter. Because the other character who has, predominantly armor will be someone like Chang and someone like Maxima, who they all have armor, but their armors are more deliberate, while Yoshiro is just, I got an armor DP, I got an armor rush punch. Basically, he's getting in there and trying to decimate you, which again falls very different from how I want to play, which is more slower and methodical like. So, you know what? And now in retrospect, I'll keep him in a might try for now. So now let's go to King. I have a weird history with King. I'm putting it not happening because, you know what? A part of me wants me to put her. You know what? Actually, I'll take that back. I'm putting her in the function. Why? Because she is, like a zoner character, space control zoning character, and I do like that she has that. And she was probably my first also SNK crush since I first met her in Art of Fighting and King and Capcom for the SNK 2. And yeah, I just like King. I mean, she's very demure, beautiful looking. She has a cool personality. I like how she's like the responsible person of Team Woman, and she does have functions and tools I kind of like. But probably one of the reasons why I am not fan of hers, she is more of a aggressive zoner. Like, she does want to space control. Like, she don't want to like try to rate and see what you do. She actually wants to just space control you, pressure you, and she'll zone you out if the matchup calls for it. But otherwise, she is, I want to constantly lock my opponent down. So yeah. My Shirinu, the bombshell that ever likes. I'm putting her in my try because when you look at Team Woman, or I guess now Super Heroine, which is now Mai, Athena, and Yuri, or before there was even Athena, there was King. Mai is kind of sort of the well balance of the two. Like, she is much more space. In fact, yeah, Mai is more of my play style than even King. But do I care for Mai as a character? Not so much. I mean, she is also does have mobility, which I just said like from Mian, but I just never really gravitated towards Mai. I don't care for the cartwheel. Her fans are neat. I kind of like that she has some air mobility with her dive kick and having an air grab, but after that, I never really cared for her normals that much. I just never cared for Mai in all that regard. I definitely want to put her not happening because I could definitely see myself playing with her. I can become attached to her, but otherwise, yeah. Now, Shermie, she's in the function. If you want to talk about a slightly defensive grappler, then this may be that might be Shermie. one, her normals are really good. She has anti-air grabs. She has pretty good. I won't say she has good mix-up, but she has easy to do mix-ups, which is why I started to like Shermie a lot when I started playing her in King of Fighters 98. And in King of Fighters 2002, she was the only other character that had a dodge attack, so I really liked her because she had a dodge. That's no longer present in this game, but her normals are still really freaking good. Her command grabs are also still really good, so I still really kind of like that. She also did have a counter command in 98 and 2002, but now in this version they removed that command, so now I'm like, oh, darn. So she's like in the function where I can play her every now and then. Am I gonna make her the character I play competitively? Probably not. Chris. Now, if you want to talk about mobility, technically Chris is that mobility character, or now he looks like he's more of a mobility character based off his old version. Because in his old version, in like 98 and 2002, Chris really was just, I'm going to harass people with my jumping CD and a few other tricks here or there. I don't know if that's going to be the case going into this version, since they did seem to leave more in his mobility. So I'm kind of interested in Chris because of that, because he has a mobility. But I still want to put him in the might try and not in the function, because outside his mobility, I guess I don't hate him as a character, but I just, like, I'm not, oh man, like when I saw this trailer, it was more like, oh wow, we got CYS back, that's great. I wasn't, oh god, I gotta play this character, that mobility, that attack, that DP, I'm in. Nah, I wasn't there with Chris. So he's, again, gonna be in the might try. Now, Ryo Sakazaki, if you want to talk about, alright, function. He's basically gonna be in the function. He is the other wall character, and the reason, I mean, he like the guy said, he's a wall. He doesn't have that much mobility, but when he hits hard. He has straightforward command sets, which I do like. But not only that, the main thing that made me really love Ryo, he got parries. I mean, he has universal parry. Well, not universal. He has a mid parry, mid-high parry, and a low parry, which allows him to parry attack and then go straight into a command. So he definitely basically fits that mark. I don't even hate him as a character. I really do like him. I like his, like, I like how simple he is, and Ryo's cool. Ryo is a cool dude, but he's definitely not. But he's also kind of in the list of, hey, if all else fails, if somehow I don't got these certain staple characters, then I can fall back on Ryo. Like, Ryo is like again, this is why I say function characters are like my fallback plan. Like, these are characters I would fall back on when I'm not sure what I'm going to do going forward with the game, if that makes sense. All right. Robert Garcia, pretty much not happening. He's pretty much is the Shoto character with a bit more of an aggressive streak, pretty much different from Ryo. The only time I really liked that Robert is when I played him in whatchamacallit, maybe King of Fighters 11, but more so really in Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, since he pretty much was a Guile function at that point. Like, he functioned just like Guile. Apparently Robert Garcia players really they got to be flexible, because Robert doesn't always stay the same. And to be fair, that's the case even with a lot of King of Fighter characters. But Robert, if you want to talk about the most polarizing character besides Kyo, Robert Garcia basically right behind Kyo, where either I'm a charge character, or I'm a motion character with Shoto's tools, or I'm a grappler in disguise and whatnot. Yeah, he's pretty he's pretty kind of out there. And the only time I really liked him was Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, and since he's not that version, I don't really care for him. Now, here we go. Day one main, Mitsuku. Now, ironically, when I saw Mitsuku, I didn't think I was gonna, really like him, ironically, from King of Fighters 14. I mean, he like, okay, I like he has the white, I like the soft looking features and whatnot, because I like my, I guess, femboy, I guess they call it. Well, not femboy, yeah, regardless. Mitsuku is cool. I like he's all about sleeping, and I also like how he's friend with Shunei, but also the one that's like, hey, Shunei, you might be doing something stupid, or rather, he at least teach Shunei how the world works. Like, he's sleepy, but he's not ignorant of the world either. But then when I actually play him, ooh, one of the best jumping normals for stopping people. He's almost like a wall himself, surprisingly. Yeah, surprisingly, he's like a wall too. But then not only that, when I found out he has charge moves, but then also when you hold on your charge move for a longer period of time, his charge move gets stronger. I was like, what? Hold on. You mean to tell me if I hold on my flash kick, I can get a stronger flash kick if I hold on to it? Fuck it. I'm all about standing still, holding my ground. Yeah, I love it. Mitsuku. I didn't think I was going to love him, but yeah, he has to be my most favorite character from King of Fighters 14 newcomers. I still like Sylvia and Mian and Xanadu, which I do miss Xanadu. I'll say maybe Xanadu my second favorite, but Mitsuku, he just checks all the boxes for me and love him. Now, Beatamaru, not happening. I mean, cool character, actually really cool character. I do think he's really cool. Don't care for Lightning, don't care for his playstyle. Very aggressive, very aggressive character, just not how I play. So yeah, that's it. But I do like how he changed all his outfits, and he is the de facto I am the suave hot guy, which actually he keeps that thing going. And Ryo Yagami, never really cared for him. Like the fact that he had red. The only thing I like, he had red color and purple flame. I like the purple flame. I like how the flames were purple. But then once I got once we got K, I'm like, oh, a tan skin leading character with cool Rekka and firepower. Then I like the K more. And then I got Ash, and I was like, all right, fuck all the other characters. Fuck Kyo, fuck Yuri, fuck K. Who cares about Kula? My boy Ash with the green flame. Green flame, and he had the white and red aesthetic going on. Ash. So that's always spoiler. You already know where Ash is probably going, but we'll just keep that going for now. But Aurori, yeah, not happening. Joe Higashi, also not happening. Just, I mean, he's funny. He's one of the only few funny characters that we got now in the roster outside of maybe Mitsuku and I guess we could also say Antonov. But yeah, and that's what's actually disappointing about King of Fighters 15. We don't got many of the joke characters. That's why I like the Xanadu, because Xanadu was that creepy humor character, and I love Chang because he was that jovial, jokey character. And then we got Joe, who's more like the butt of jokes for people, which, you know, I feel for Joe Higashi fans. But now I don't got, but now he's like the only kind of comedy relief character here, and I don't care for his play style whatsoever. So I was never a Joe Higashi fan. So yeah, Kiyo Kusanagi, function. Now, I know you might be hearing me saying, "Oh, I like my slow, methodical gameplay," but this is King of Fighters, and King of Fighters is definitely known for being an aggressive-based fighting game. It's aggressive based, not as aggressive as, you know, let's say not as aggressive as Melty Blood, not as aggressive as Guilty Gear, but it's definitely a little more aggressive than Street Fighter per se. So, and that doesn't mean I have no interest in any aggressive like playstyle, but when it comes to aggressive playstyle, then I would have to say I do like Kyo's version of aggressive playstyle. For Sora, he has a back dash that's usually unique, where he can do a back dash, crouching heavy, air crouching heavy to get like a further back dash. He has easy juggle that's easy to confirm and usually not very punishable. He has the run up move, which is a good like just move ender, and then he has Rekkas. That's definitely what makes me kind of all right. Now I'm a Kyo fan. He has Rekkas. I love Rekka Kyo. Old Kyo without Rekka is not terrible, but when he has Rekkas, okay, now you got me interested. So yeah, Kyo Kusanagi, because he has Rekka, that's like the only not only, but that's one of the few aggressive strategy I like to use, which is, okay, do a Rekka. Am I going to do a delay Rekka or not Rekka at all, and whatnot, which leads into my sort of slower stagger like gameplay and whatnot. And then also Kyo Kusanagi, he just has easy hit confirms. Like every other character I do like, confirming with them is hard. Kyo, easy peasy, love it. Shizuru Kagura, I like her aesthetic. I think she's cool. I've tried playing her in the old games, had some challenges with that. And from what I'm hearing in people who try her in Kingdom Hearts 15, she was part of the last beta and I tried her, but I didn't really want to stick on her for the time being for the most part. But people are saying she is kind of a keep out character, which is sort of a function I want, but she may be slightly technical than I would prefer. Or better yet, she might be slightly technical than I prefer as a character. And I think there's another character who kind of fits her mold that I want, because Shizuru, she has good pose. I think she's more of a footsie character, Shizuru. I think she's more of a footsie character who does good posts that lead into something, and then once she has the advantage, she definitely feels like a character who needs to lead in on that advantage, instead of some characters who are okay with just, chilling, backing off and whatnot. So yeah, so that's why she's in the might try, but not in the function, since she does require a lot of conditioning on her opponents, which I am not really that good at, per se. But yeah. Andy Bulgar, function. He's a function character. He pretty much does do the fireball DP game like everybody else. He does have a dash attack that's safe. And I think he's a pretty cool character. Not a character I fell in love with. Like, I came to realize, oh, Andy is kind of okay-ish. He's fine. But that I came to that when I kind of, wasn't fond of every other character I was, looking at. I wasn't like, oh, Andy's here, I gotta play him. It's like, okay, he's here. He's another backup. Like, again, my function characters, these are all like my backup in case just things don't go if things don't go my way for one reason or another. And again, the might try people, these are people who I'm slightly interested in, but if I never touch them, I will also be fine. And not happening, I know I don't need to touch these people because I just don't care for it. Yuri Sakazaki, don't care for her, don't care for her. I mean, she does have a fireball, which is neat. I like she has a double uppercut, but that's where my interest stops. I never really care for, well, actually, I'll say this. She is waifu material. Absolutely. Absolutely, she's waifu material and whatnot. And the fact that she's Ryo brother, it's like, oh, that's cool. Brother and sister. I love the brother and sister banter and whatnot. But don't care for her playstyle whatsoever. Leona, also not happening. She's very mix-up driven character. Has good pose. Is charge based, which I do like, but she really is, I got the advantage, I keep the advantage, and I will miss you up to oblivion, and just not where I am as a player. Not that I really care for. So yeah. Next character, Ralph Jones. Now Ralph Jones, bit peculiar. I seen so many people play them back in the heyday, and I was like, I never liked his personality. I never really like how you play. He's actually a character that has seen through some revision, but I always thought that he was a very pressure-based character, which I thought wasn't my case. But then again, I did start to realize, okay, he has really, really fucking good normals. And also his machine gun thing, also not terrible, which is almost reminiscing to E Honda. And he does actually have a good few armor and invisibility stuff. So Ralph really could actually become a functioning character if I give him even more of a try. But then this go back to, okay, do I like him as a character? Not really. No, I don't really like him as a character. I don't hate him. Like, he's not a detestable, hateable person, but I also just never really care for him either as a character and whatnot. Now, this may seem very awkward for people, but Clark Still's actually not happening. Even though he actually is very cool, I think he's much cooler than Ralph. Not only that, he is technically a defensive grappler, or rather he has a lot of moves that has defensive capabilities and whatnot. And if you want to talk about also easy conditioning, Clark can do that. Yeah, I just don't really care to play Ralph. I just never really fell in love with Ralph. You know what? To be fair, he could probably graduate from Might Try, and you know what? I'm actually gonna do that. I'll put him in the Might Try. I can actually say I can Might Try Clark Still, but he may just stay also in the Might Try, play for shits and giggles, but that'll be it. that's where he's gonna stay. Mary, not happening. Very much, I want to vortex mix you up, similar to what Yuri wants to do, similar to what Benimaru wants to do. I'm good. I don't need that in my life. Luong, she's actually gonna be a function. She has really nice pokes, which I like. She has very good pokes. She has a good TP, and she has a pretty interesting Okizeme. Like, I do like her. Well, that's right. She requires a lot of target need in her moveset. Sorry from how I'm speaking. Yeah, she needs a lot of target need in her moveset, and it's fun to target need with her. Like, it's fun to do that, but I also like how she had feint cancels where she can wind up for a kick, be ready to strike, and if she doesn't want to do the strike, she can cancel the strike. And actually, yeah, there you go. Another easy hit confirm character. In fact, Kyo, Andy, and Luong, these characters actually have very good hit confirm. The reason why for Kyo, because he has moves that he has Rekka, so basically he can I could commit to something, and then when I get to the Rekka part, I can say, hey, did I actually get a hit confirm? Oh, I didn't? Okay, let me just stop my Rekka or do a safe version of a Rekka. Andy, he has extra normals that makes it also easier to hit confirm. And then even then, he has good, like, he can just do hit, extra normal, fireball, and if it hits from there, I can decide, okay, do I want to get more damage out of this by adding a desperation move, or do I want to just keep it simple and just have it reset it, but I can still keep my momentum? And Luong, because she has feints, I can basically commit to, actually, there you go. Luong has good pokes. That's what she has. She has pokes. Her normals, really good. Very nicely good pokes and normals and whatnot. Sort of similar to what Mai has. Sort of similar to what Shizuru has. Shizuru definitely wants to use a lot more complexity with some of her illusion or fake out. Luong's just, I'm going to poke you or I'm not going to poke you. And once I get a hit, try to get a knockdown and then try to do some of her mix up with her Tiger Knee stuff and whatnot. Which, again, it's fun. It is fun to do that. So yeah, give me a moment. So, alright. So let's continue. Vanessa, not happening, not trying. One, execution heavy. Second, very rush down heavy. I mean, she's a stance character, which is very rare in King of Fire, which I do like stance character. And she does actually have some pretty good defensive properties, but again, she is very much an aggressive, pressure-based character. I'm pretty sure I'm not there for that. That's actually going to be the same case for Ramon. Very much a pressure character, wants to get in and do stuff, and that's the end of that story. So yeah, Ramon, same case. King of Dinosaur. Now, I'm kind of struggling where to put him, but I'm gonna also put him in the might try. I never really played him that much in King of Fighters 14, but he does have armor, he does have visibility grab, so he's another, if anything, slightly defensive-based grappler, and he's not as vortex as, let's say, Clark Steel. Yeah, because once Clark Steel gets a grabbing, he does want to vortex you. Does he have good defensive option in neutral? Yes. While King of Dinosaur, I don't know if I can say King of Dinosaur is as vortex heavy. Like, his grab just does his bulk of the damage, and then he just plays the neutral again, which I'm more comfortable with doing. And I think King of Dinosaur does have a better time with projectile because he has leaping command grab. While Clark Steel, I think he does need to respect people's zoning and whatnot. But then that's where my interest for King of Dinosaur kind of stops. Has some interesting tool sets, but nothing that makes me want to go, I really want to try this character out. And the reason why that even happens with a lot of characters is because you should already find a character who fits all my marks, which surprisingly we're now about to get to the first character who really checks all my marks. Athena Osmia, Day 1 main. Ironically, when I started realizing that oh god, I hate my phone how it does this. I do apologize, people. Let me put it on silent. There we go. Put it on silent. That's what I should have done before. So Athena Osmia. This is my character who became alright, this is my King of Fighters, just my always main character. Main reason why, because she's always available, because she has a perfect attendance. But not only that, when I started realizing that I do like mobility, but then also like keep away, well, Asamiya has that. She has good projectiles. I mean, I can just autopilot, hey, do this normal, do her dive kick. I could just autopilot into the light version, and if it hits, great. If it doesn't hit, I'm safe, and you still suffer some chip damage and whatnot. And she also has a command grab, so I like that command grab. That can follow up. She has a she has a super deterioration move, fireball, which I like. But what made me fall in love with her is her crystal bit super, where she has basically an aura around her and a crystal ball flies around her. Level 1, level 2 all have invisibility. She could use it in the air and from backdash, and she could cancel it if it's like if it whiffs and my favorite opponent is going to punish me. I can stop it, or if I think my opponent is going to try to beat my feint, I can just let it keep rocking because it's a long active hitbox. And then not only that, no, it's just all around good. Yeah, she has her projectile reflect, so I can contest with other zoners. Now that may not be the case in King of Fighters 15 because we didn't see her reflect in the trailer, but in every other King of Fighters, Athena always has a reflect. And yeah, basically I always play with Athena in every King of Fighters game since then, except when it comes to King of Fighters Maximum Impact Regulation A. And I may need to just play her a bit more, but then again, I also fell in love with Mignon Bear. So that's the only reason why I didn't really go back to Athena, because I fell in love with Mignon Bear from Maximum Impact Regulation A. But alright, yeah. So day one main, like, I had these two characters, easy, no problem. Now we're going to go to Wish to Main. This is my first Wish to Main. I love Anton as a character. Just like the only other character I said who's kind of had the jovial, good-hearted, but funny aspect to him. Very good buttons. Very good pressure. Sorry, he has a very easy one-dimensional pressure. Like, I remember how saying how Shunei and Yoshiro has, brain dead pressure. Also kind of has a brain dead pressure. He doesn't get as high reward as Shunei and Yoshiro, but Antonov is usually safe. Like his additional normal, which I think is 4 light punch, that thing just hits. It hits, and I don't think it's punishable except maybe a few supers or whatnot. And then again, he has command grab, bit buttons and whatnot, and he has feint. Yeah, I just kind of really do like Antonov. But when I did try to play him in King of Fighters 14, there was definitely a bit of some learning curve with that, with his normals, and yeah, there you go. I can say that. Besides his additional normal, I don't really love all his normals. I don't like his jumping attacks personally, and he has a dragon punch, which is it's rare for a grappler to have a dragon punch, but he had a dragon punch reversal. I liked that, but that's kind of. He just kind of became a little too difficult for my taste. And even though I do admire King of Fighters as a game, it's not one of those games that I am dead set hard trying to master, become a competitor in. I mean, I did say I'm going to compete, but how far does that go? I'm just going to see how far can I go before I tap out and whatnot. Now, I really want to put Ash Ketchum in day one main, but I have to be honest with myself. One, Ash Ketchum is actually considered one of the most execution-heavy characters. And yeah, fuck it, he's one of the most execution-heavy characters. He does play a very strong neutral, and he has the tools I want. He has a trap. He has a flash kick. He has a He has a sonic boom, and one that even eats other projectiles. And he looks cool as fuck. This is the coolest little motherfucker in this roster. I love his attitude. I love his trolliness. I almost love everything about him. But can I compete with him? That is my question. And while I like all the other tools, Ash does shine when you talk about his install, which allows him to do a lot of crazy combo potential stuff and everything. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure I might be capable of that. I just may not really be that capable, because this is talking about in the execution department. Remember I said how I did like execution of Luong, which requires a lot of Tiger Knee? I'm okay with her execution demanding being in the Tiger Knee scenario. Sorry, I'm okay with her being execution heavy when it comes to her how she does her Oki. Like to have a good Okizeme game, she needs to do that. I'm okay with myself trying to do that. But with Ash, it's like, okay, if I want the damage and make sure his hits counts, I need to have good execution in that regards, and that is what's scaring me, almost scaring me from putting him day one main. And I'm like, I really like you, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to stick with you. Kukuri, another character who I wish made. He's kind of actually sort of an aggressive zoner, and he has a lot of traps. No, not even traps. He's more of an aggressive zoner with some good normals, a good way to keep pressure on the opponent. He has really good. Sorry, he has actually some pretty easy combo potential, but after you get a knockdown with him, he does need a bit of a good Okizeme game, and that's what his sand traps are supposed to be. His Okizeme tool, not sand trap, but the sand clones, and it kind of sort of scares me compared to someone like Shizuru, who's more of a footsie character, and then when she gets in, or gets her attacking, then she wants to use her illusions to kind of disorient the opponent. Kukuri, he uses his clones on knockdown to disorient his opponent, and you need to have a lot of layers. Like, I can have one or two setups, but to be proficient, you need to have multiple layers on top of that, and that sort of scares me. And Shizuru, almost the same thing, but she also wants to do that in neutral as well. Use her illusions to force whip punishes and whatnot. Now, the reason why I have Kukuri up there, because at least his buttons and pressure is more easier than Shizuru. Like, again, Shizuru is a pussy character. He is, I'm aggressive, I'm in there hitting you and doing stuff kind of character and whatnot. So his offense is easier than Shizuru, but he still got a bit of a learning curve when it comes to Okizeme. Isla, I tried her a bit in the beta. I wasn't really feeling it. I think some people are saying she is the next high mobility character. We might have to, consider that. Sorry, instead of running when it comes to Mai and I think a few other characters who has a high mobility. I think pretty sure Chris may be slightly mobile than her, but Chris is mobile on the ground. Isla is mobile while in the air, and she does have a lot of air stuff, which is kind of neat and cool. 'Cause I do like air tools, but I'm not sure. I haven't played her enough. She's basically in the might try, but I'm also wasn't crazy to try to play her. I mean, I wasn't even really crazy about her as a character to begin with, but when I found she got air command moves, I'm like, oh, well, okay, that might be interesting. So next character. My boy K, how he kind of fell from grace. I first really loved him because I didn't really care for Kyo as the main character, didn't care for Iori, and before I knew I liked the counters, I also didn't care for Ryu. But K, he had Rekka style light command moves, he had a teleport. I'm like, oh, he's really cool. Oh, I really like this. K's kind of pretty cool and whatnot. He has tan skin too, which is, I'm black, so I kind of thought that was cool and whatnot. But besides that, yeah, I thought K was really nice and cool. I love his Rekka commands. He has an easy, brain dead set of offensive tools and whatnot. But then playing K for a bit, that's when I realized, oh, I'm not actually playing smart with this guy. I'm just doing stuff with him. And for the most part, K lets you get away with that. The trade-off for K is now he needs to actually have good high damage output. Or rather, you need to be very good with his combos, and I am not that. I don't care for that much for combos, that much. I mean, I know it's ironic since I just said, Ash Chrism, in order to play with him optimal, you need to have high execution for his combos. But because I love Ash as both a character and his playstyle, I could be willing to try to do that. K, yeah. If I'll say this, K is what Athena used to be before I realized I like Athena playstyle. When I never had a character to play in King of Fighters, like when I didn't have a dead set character I love in King of Fighters, then I was like, okay, well I can always play with K because, well, K, I kind of like him. He's almost in every King of Fighters game ever since his debut, so that's fine. But he's not in King of Fighters 98, which is why I still had the dilemma of playing 98 and prior games. Like, well, there's no K, so who got to play with? And then I find out, oh, there's Athena. And then also Athena fits my playstyle much better to a T. So yeah, there you go. There's Athena. So that's why K is like in the function where, yeah, I'm basically familiarity. That's the best thing. That's the best way for me to describe K and his placement. Not even just really function, rather I'm familiar with you. I play with you so a bit, so I can still kind of use you because of that. Now, going to Hyder. Kind of not happening. Even though he is a zoner, he's definitely a zoner who wants to use more mix-up, while as opposed to, let's say, Mitsuku and Athena, who are like, we're fine to getting the knockdown and putting the media out projectile and just seeing what you want to do. Like Athena and Mitsuku are reactive based zoners where we want to see what you're going to do and then try to intercept. Hyder is, alright, I got a knockdown, let me throw the projectile out there and now put you in a blender of some sort in the process. Hyder is a very aggressive zoner, similar to what K is. I mean, not K, but King. King is an aggressive zoner, and it's not what I usually like to play, but King is also a waifu material, so she's in the function for that. So yeah. So here's where we're gonna put the next wish to main. Really like Dolores, like her aesthetic, like her, and when I played her, I really like her normals, I like her commands and everything. So she basically is a zoner grappler where she has grappling, but that's based off how far away she is, and I kind of like it. However, I did see what her Okizeme may require, and it sort of scares me, but again, I still really like her. I think I could definitely put some work into her and whatnot, and see how far I can go with her. This will be her first debut game, so I can't put so much stock in, oh, do I know if I like this character or not, because I've only tried her in the beta. So yeah, Dolores wish to main, because if I can play her, I will play her and whatnot. But who knows? Whip. I'm kind of mixed where I want to put her, but you know, I think I am going to put her in the day one main. I was if you want to talk about slower, neutral control, this is what Whip does. This is what she does. She is slow. She has very straightforward telegraphic mix-up, but still, you know, decent mix-ups. She has a feint cancel. In fact, she does have sort of a stance. Let me say pseudo stance. Pseudo stance. Let me say that. She has a pseudo stance. It's not as prevalent as, let's say, Vanessa stance, but it's a stance nonetheless. And she has good normals. So yeah, she is a bit on the execution side, but I think I could be willing to deal with her. Ironically, I don't actually love her as a character, but I also don't hate her either. I mean, she's K's K's sister, and because I also have a twin. Actually, apparently, I think K and Whip are technically twins, fraternal twins, and I am a fraternal twin myself, so I can say, oh, I like that about her. But that's kind of where, like, as a character, that's where my interest with Whip kind of stays. But I really like how she plays, and I think there's higher prospects for her. So yeah, I have her in the day one main. She's the one I'm going to need to practice a bit more of, because she's the one I'm the least unsure of. But yeah, and in fact, Whip was definitely going to be, okay, I am going to play with this character until a certain other character comes up, but we'll get to that. Angel, not happening. Very, very Vortex heavy. Rekka series. You know, I like Gretka's because I just say I like Kyo and his Rekka, so it's easier to kind of, you know, make some form of a flow chart. But Angel really is, I mix you up, hit you, and I keep going. I don't stop. She's a blender that never stops. While I'm a person who sometimes want to go on the advantage, but if I'm not confident in going on the offensive after getting the knockdown, I'd rather just say, all right, I'll back up and let you get your breather, and I'll play this neutral, and I'll play you in neutral again, and I'll play you in neutral if possible and whatnot. So yeah, Angel, not happening. Cronin, I'm going to put him in the function. He has normals that are easy to confirm. Like, in fact, I think he might be the character that has the easiest hit confirm, because all his normals does multi-hit. So because they all do multi-hit and longer hit stun, it's easier to visually confirm, was this a hit? Was this a block? Also, his command set has been made very simple, straightforward, and whatnot. And also, I guess the one thing that made me really feel in love is how he has a Fireball Super that gives him visibility against other Fireball Super. So he basically does have good reactionary-based tool sets and whatnot. So function-wise, he's definitely there as a candidate because I do like his tool set. Don't care for his character that much, but I mean that's that. Maxima. This is a character who I did used to really like a lot before. Like after I realized, you know what, K is kind of degenerate, and I kind of just go ham and not really play smart. Then I fall back on Maxima, who has good armor normals. He is something of a wall character similar to Ryo and whatnot. But the thing that now made me went from, oh, he's a day one main in previous game to now a wish to main. He really, once he gets the advantage and get a hit and get a good combo knockdown, he does want to actually be a grappler and try to vortex the opponent, which is not my strongest cup of tea. It's just not my strongest cup of tea. But I am familiar with him. He is simple. Like his offensive options are simple. His neutral options are simple. His defensive options even are simple. But once it comes to pushing the advantage, such as Okizeme and whatnot, then he becomes a bit more scarier to try to navigate around. And yeah, I mean, this is the problem of me almost in general. I do want to really play a slow game a lot of the time. Even if I play a mobility character, like if I have mobility, I still don't want to just immediately, oh, let me go zipping around, but I still want to play slow. Maxima can sort of do that, but he really needs you to optimize his combo damage and have some good Okizeme mix-up tool to make him keep the advantage. Unlike, let's say, someone like Whip doesn't really need to try to push her advantage because she's like, well, alright, I got a knockdown, I'll just space you out. I got no problem with that. Athena, cool, I got a knockdown, I'm just going to projectile and space you out. Mitsuku, I got a knockdown, I'll make sure you got hurt during that knockdown. I'm okay with just chilling here because I'm charging my move, and my charge move has very high priority. Try to deal with that. Like, these characters aren't characters who want to be that proactive, except Athena sort of wants to be proactive based on a few scenarios, but overall, even if she can't be proactive, it's like, well, you know what, I don't know what the heck to do, I'm just going to run away. Like, Athena can't just run away, even though she can play actively. Like, I'm okay with actively running away too. Like, that's a play style I'm okay with too. Hit someone and then just get out of there, run away and whatnot. I'm okay with that. A lot of the characters right here don't really excel at that. Antonov, he definitely wants to hold his ground and then try to mix you up. Ash, he technically does. He's actually okay with doing what Athena and other characters do. Okay, I got a knockdown. I'm okay with backing off because he does have a trap to lay on you. The problem is once I get a hit, I need to make sure I make that hit count because Ash damage output is usually lower, so that will be a bit of a. Yeah, he needs to have an install in order to match certain characters' damage output. And I'm not the most execution good when it comes to long combos. Kukuri, he definitely wants a vortex. He has Sans for that. Oki. Dolores, sort of the same. She still is a grappler. I mean, she's a zoner, but she also still is a grappler to some extent. So, yeah. And Maxima, I'm still a grappler. I still want to try to miss him after I get a hit. He wants to press the advantage and whatnot. Dolores, maybe not so much, but again, I haven't played Dolores so much because I think some people actually do hit and then they're safely backing off, but I need to see that, or rather I need to experiment with that further. Kula, not happening. Never cared for her as a character. She's cute. That's best I can say. Just cute character. That's it. Done. Never fucking cared for her. Definitely was aggressive. Hate her normals. I hate fighting her. Yeah, I won't say the reason I don't want to play Kula because I hate fighting Kula also. So many people played this character. Character got so annoying real quickly. So yeah, Kula. And then this is where all my fear will put to rest. I got Elizabeth. So, how about this? If you want to talk about my most favorite King of Fighters character of all time, first off, that is going to be Seth. Seth from King of Fighters. the Nest Saga. That is Seth. Sadly, Seth has never really came back after the Nest Saga. He appeared in Maximum Impact Regulation A, but really never came back. And I'm just like, am I ever going to get a Seth function again? And then Elizabeth comes around. This is pretty much Seth 2.0 without the mobility aspect of dive kit, because Seth did have a lot of dive kit. But aside that, Seth was good at dealing with projectile because he had a wind slicing move that got rid of projectile, even reflect. He had dive kit to kind of, close the distance or retreat whenever he can. Elizabeth doesn't have that, but what did Seth also have? He had a bunch of counters, and you may have been weird to her, but how many characters I mentioned have counters? I think about it, I know Kula has a counter, but it's more of a counter projectile. I did say Ryo has a parry, but that's not really, there's a difference between a parry and a counter. A parry is I would absorb a move, and then I get to freely act. A counter is you activated my trap, now you're going to take this damage. And if I'm correct right now, that pretty much is only Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a character who, you activated my trap, now you're going to take this damage. Elizabeth is the only other character in this game that had a counter. Thus, she pretty much just skyrocketed from another girl who I saw to now, okay, she's like second favorite most King of Fighter character. Second most favorite King of Fighter characters. Yeah, Mitsuku I do like. In fact, he's like the only other guy I kind of like outside of Ash Chrism, because last thing I really want to do is, I don't want to do a team of Elizabeth, Athena, and Whip, because now I look like just like a waifu lover, which I'm not a waifu lover. I like waifus, but I'm not so degenerate to where, I want to play with a guy character. I like guy character. I like Mitsuku. I like Ash, but boy, am I afraid of how to play Ash. So yeah, but there you go. This is Keon Pratt tier list. These are not happening. These characters, just no interest whatsoever to try them at all. Never gonna try them unless I'm putting some weird thing where I gotta play with them by random. Might try kernel of interest to disinterest. Rather, I know you exist. I think you may do one thing that's particularly cool and interesting, but then it stops there. Functions. These are again the characters who at least fit a certain niche that I like, but then it stops there. So yeah, it stops there at that. Function. King, zoning. Shermie, slightly defensive grappler. Ryo, well-rounded with parries. Kyo, hit confirms with Rekkas. Andy, the Shoto to end all Shotos. K, another sort of Shoto, but at least with brain dead, pressure, or offensive options. Luong, great normals and posts. Cronin, easy hit confirm. But that's where it stops. With Shunei, love Anton as a character. Great, interesting grapple, interesting tool set, but boys is normals kind of scared to run with. Ash Chrism, pretty much very good neutral game, very good buttons and whatnot, but in order to have that damage, you gotta have his combo game on point, which may be exhausting. Kukri also sort of has a little easier offensive character. Sorry, he's like one of the other offensive characters that might be easy for me to play. Very easy combos since a lot of his combos are loops. But yeah, and I think even his loops or like his block, his combo is also the same thing as his block string. Like if I do normal, extra normal, fireball, I can do that either I hit on block and there's no problem with that. But once I get that hit and knockdown, I gotta try to do Oki with this guy, and his normals are not that good for that, and he requires using his sand clones, and that scares me. The complexity of his sand clone scares me. Dolores, haven't played her enough to know, hey, is this a character who I really want to invest my time into? I do like that she has command grabs, and she does have great normals, but is she just like is she like every other grappler character who wants to run a blender once they get going? Cause that's sure as fuck what Maxima wants to do. I mean, yeah, he's okay playing a slow initial neutral of using his normals, his armor normals, but once he gets I mean, again, his command grab. His command grab puts people in the corner, so he can immediately start putting people in a blender. It's like, well, you got no room to run away, so now you gotta deal with my mix-ups. And again, I'm kind of scared of how to try to deal with that. And day one main, Elizabeth, great character, counters, done. Mitsuku, charge character, gets better if he stays passive, done. Athena, run away, easy tool set with a shuttle, done. Great, cool. Whip, spacing control supreme, done. Great, awesome. So yeah, this is Keon Pratt's King of Fighters 15, who I'm going to main tier list. Thank you for joining me, and have a lovely day.